Hello, today is the Friday in the week of Easter called the Octave of Easter. The Easter event is such a powerful event that we celebrate it for 8 days. That's why we call it the Octave of Easter. It's as if the resurrection can't be contained in just one day. And so we celebrate each of these days as a very special day. The octave ends this Sunday on what is known as Divine Mercy Sunday. And it's called that because, as you'll notice in the gospel, Jesus gives the disciples the power to forgive. And so it is God's mercy. One of the great gifts of Easter is that power that God gives and extends to us, that power of forgiveness. But there's also another part of this week's scriptures that I want you to think about. In the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, there's a line that says, and it's talking about the disciples. They met together in the temple area and to breaking bread in their homes. The early church gathered in public in the temple area, but the early church also gathered in homes. And so in essence, the church had a public face and it had a home or a domestic face. And this home church was an important part of the life of the community, just as it is today, and perhaps at this time even more so, because we cannot gather in the church as we did in previous days because of the pandemic. But we can gather in the home. And so it is a time to uplift that home church, or the domestic church as we call it. Because right now, that's where the church is most alive. What does it mean to be a domestic church, or the church at home? Well, it means that our homes are places of prayer. Maybe you pray before meals, or maybe bedtime, or maybe just quietly by yourself take time to pray. Our homes are places of prayer, and therefore they are church. Our homes are also places of blessing. It's where we celebrate life, honor achievements, celebrate birthdays, recognize good news in people's lives. And our homes are church because that's where we're fed, certainly physically, but we're also fed spiritually because we nurture and care for each other. And so there are many different ways to be and to have church at home. I know many of you are doing a lot of different things to celebrate church at home. So we invite you to send pictures to us, send your stories about how are you being church at home? How is that important part of the life of the church that you have to be celebrating at this time because you can't gather in public? How is that being uplifted? We want to hear your stories so we can share and inspire them with one another. One great reminder of being church at home is if you have some holy water, just to sprinkle a little bit on your hand and make the sign of the cross before you pray, maybe even pray a blessing over each other. And if you don't have any holy water at home, we have some here in church that's always available. Back in the sacristy where the altar servers gather, there's a big tub. Just bring a little plastic container and you're welcome to come fill it up to bring the water of life to your churches at home. So as we continue to celebrate Easter, we're not able to have church in public as much as we would, but we are still having church. We're having church at home. And may God bless you as you are that domestic church, that church at home. Take care.